Hey guys, welcome back. This is the War Train here. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys my recent gaming pickups. Now, everything that you're going to see here is strictly from either Target or Walmart, because currently, pretty much by me, everything's still closed. Now, I did hear that my local GameStop, the one that I usually go to, is actually open for business, but just doing curbside pickup. But unfortunately, it's a very small store, and most of the stuff there I probably already have. Or I usually go there too to look at used games, but right now, nobody's turning games in there because they're not taking them. So there's not a whole lot for me to get there yet, unless it's a new game release or whatever that I can't get at maybe some other store. But pretty cool. I'm definitely happy that they're finally open, at least for curbside pickup. I know other people around me are probably really happy too, because the Target and the Walmarts are just getting hammered. A lot of the stuff that they have is just empty. If you want to get Joy-Cons, forget it. There is nothing. The only thing that they have, as far as consoles, are Switch Lites when they get restocked. Now, that's at least good that I do see those, because I'll be picking one of those up when the Switch Lite giveaway ends, which, as a reminder, it's going to be ending the last day of April. So if you're not already entered in the Switch Lite giveaway, definitely get entered. So I can't express that enough. It'll be here before you know it, guys. But I got a lot of cool stuff. I'm definitely excited. There will be some upcoming videos of some stuff that I ordered online that I cannot wait to get. Some really cool stuff, guys, so definitely look forward to some cool videos coming out in the near future. But with that said, guys, let's get into it. So before we get into the pickups, guys, I just want to show you guys something I thought was really cool. Now, if you recently finished Final Fantasy VII Remake and you were kind of hungry for some more content, I actually thought about this movie and looked in my old DVD collection to see if I could find this, because I knew I had it, as I originally bought this when it came out. And that is Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Pretty awesome that I still had this. Now, this is something that I forgot I even had in my collection, but playing Final Fantasy VII Remake reminded me that I at one point had this. I wanted to see if I still had it. So I winded up finding it, and I thought that was absolutely awesome. I just watched it last night, and it's really cool. It takes place 2 years after the events of Final Fantasy VII, and gives you kind of like a conclusion to that story. So I thought it was really cool, and if you're kind of hungry for some more content in the Final Fantasy VII world, definitely worth checking this out if you've never seen it before. Now, you could probably rent this on Amazon or something, or buy it, or buy a copy online. I'm sure you could find it. Who knows, they probably even make this on Blu-ray now. But pretty awesome, guys. I thought I'd share this with you guys. And now for the gaming pickups. Now, this first game, I promised my son I would get him. My wife actually bought him the PlayStation 4 version, and he had to have the Switch version because I guess there's a little bit of extra content that is specific to Nintendo. And that is Just Dance 2020. Now, these games are definitely not my cup of tea, but my kids absolutely love these games. So I know some people do really like them, but not for me, I can tell you that. But definitely cool to add this to the collection for sure. And the next one, actually these next two, some people could call these budget titles. Now, me and my buddy Steve Craig were actually recently talking about this. We were talking about how some people call some of this stuff, just filler titles or whatever. That's all in the eyes of the beholder. Just because these games are cheap and budget games, does that really mean they are filler? That could actually mean maybe you're a little smarter. That's how he put it, and I kind of agree. If you're able to get 4 games for the price of one brand new game, and they're good games, especially maybe 2 or 3 out of 4, you pretty much made out. You just got 4 games for the price of 1. So I thought that was interesting, and I just wanted to bring that up. Now, this game was $19.99, and it is American Ninja Warrior Challenge. This is something that was basically on like a bargain shelf or whatever at Walmart. And it looked interesting, and I thought I'd give it a try because it looked cool. And I know these like game shows, you do like really cool kind of stuff. It reminded me of like a American Gladiator kind of thing. But I'm definitely looking forward to see what this game's like. I mean, it could be trash, but I thought it was worth giving, you know, a look, especially for the price. So pretty excited to check that game out. And the same with this game. Actually, I really like the games I seen on the back of here, and that is Party Arcade. Another, you know, budget game, $19.99 at Walmart. This game looks like a ton of fun. On the back, it has Skee Ball, which is one of my favorite games, and you can shoot hoops and basketball, and I love doing that. Actually, on the Wii Sports Resort, I played so much of the mini game of, you know, shooting hoops with the ball. I had a blast, and that was probably my #1 played game on that, you know, compilation. And this has a bunch of other stuff: air hockey, ping pong, puck bowling, hoop shots, skill ball, billiards, darts, cornhole, cup pong, and more. So pretty excited to check out Party Arcade. And like I said, you could call these filler title or filler games or whatever you want, but you know what? If they're good games, that doesn't matter. It's all in the eye of the beholder. And now this next game, is a game that had a lot of controversy about it, and the price skyrocketed. I bought this, and like 2 days after I bought it, I was shocked to hear that at that point the game was selling for $100. I was like, what? I was like, Cooking Mama? And that's what I got. I found that my local Target had restocked Cooking Mama, so I picked up 2 of their 3 copies. They only had 3 of these. Originally when I got it, they only had 1, and I had 1 copy of this, and I couldn't believe that this game shot up in price. And it's one of those things that this game could become one of the rarest games on the Nintendo Switch because of the controversy. Originally they thought that it was like basically data mining the game, the user playing the game, but it turned out that was all false. But the thing with this game is the person that put it out, the publisher, I guess, they were not supposed to do that. I guess this game wasn't up to the other company's standards. They didn't want the game put out, and they put it out anyway. Well, that was a big no-no, so now there's like lawsuits and all kinds of stuff. So currently this game is going for like $59.99. That's probably the lowest I've seen it for on eBay, and I got it for $29.99. Now originally I bought this game and I did want to play it with my kids, so now I have 3 copies. 1 will be getting open so I could check out the gameplay. You know, from what I understand, this game was not properly optimized for the Switch, and the console runs pretty hard. The fan, I guess, runs very, you know, tough. It probably runs hot because it was poorly optimized. But whoever would have thought Cooking Mama would become, you know, one of these games that could potentially be super, super rare. So I figured for the price, I'd pick up a couple extra copies. 1, so I could open my first copy, and 2, down the road, I could use maybe these games for trade bait or sell them to get something that I really, really want. So, you know, why not, right? So here we go, 2 sealed copies of Cooking Mama. And the next game is a game that I actually put off buying at the time. There was a lot of great games out, and I knew this game would be on shelves, you know, indefinitely. And I was focusing on more uncommon games or games that would become uncommon, and that is A Hat in Time. This looked like a fun game. This is a 3D platforming collectathon, basically, in the vein of Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, stuff like that. So definitely excited to check this game out. It looks like a lot of fun if you're into 3D platforming games that are of the Nintendo 64 era. But this game obviously is a modern game and has modern graphics. So definitely excited to check this game out on the Switch. And this was a game a lot of people were hoping was coming to the Switch when it launched. I remember this company originally wasn't even going to put it on Switch, but then they seen the success of the Switch and changed their tune. And this next one is a game that I always intended on picking up, and that is Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age. Final Fantasy games are always worth picking up, in my opinion, especially if you're into RPGs. And over these last, say, 5 years, I've really, just been getting way more into RPGs. So definitely excited to have picked this up on the Nintendo Switch and be able to play this game in handheld. So pretty awesome stuff. And this next game is a game that I did have pre-ordered at my local GameStop, but unfortunately with everything going on, I wasn't able to pick it up there. Even with it pre-ordered, I don't think you can pick up your pre-orders because it works off of buying the stuff online and then setting it up at a store to pick up. So it just wouldn't work out. I guess when they do open, I'll just get my money back or transfer it to some other stuff. But that is the Trials of Mana. Now, this is a remake that had just came out. I was very excited for this game. Now, this game originated on the Super Nintendo, but we never got it in the United States. This was a game that was overseas, and we just got a release for the first time in English over here, and that was on Nintendo Switch, and that was in the Mana Collection. And I actually had made a video on the Mana Collection, and I played this game. I wound up playing through this game. I didn't finish it, but I'm pretty close to the end of this game. And I gotta say, it looks awesome. The 2D sprite work on the original game was absolutely gorgeous. It was a very, very fun RPG, and I cannot wait to check out this, remake in a 3D environment and just see how they took the exact same game and made it modern. So this was one of my most anticipated games on the Switch, and I cannot wait to check this out. Currently, I believe there still is a demo on the PS4 and on the Nintendo Switch for this, if you guys are interested in just checking out some of the gameplay and seeing if this is something that you're interested in. And a game I actually forgot to put in an earlier pickup video. I actually got this a couple weeks ago, and that is Persona 5 Royale. Now, this was basically a re-release of Persona 5. There's been a ton of releases now, but this, I guess, is all the content and some extra content. I did not play this game yet, so I'm glad I waited, because now I have the full collection plus extra. So I'm finally going to be playing this game and checking it out. Because prior to this, I didn't play Persona 5. I did play some of 4 on my PlayStation Vita, which that is a really cool game on the Vita. So I'm definitely excited to own this, and it looks awesome, especially it comes in this steelbook, which I thought was really, really cool. So definitely excited to check this game out. I want to say this game may have been Game of the Year in like 2016. I could be wrong, but I want to say it did win Game of the Year at some point for at least some category. I know it's a very beloved game. And last but not least, I picked up 2 3DS games. Now, I love the 3DS, and I try to always look out for Vita games, 3DS games, GameCube games, Wii U games. I'm always keeping an eye out for all these different systems. And 3DS, there's been some games that have been high up on my recent radar. Now, I did pick up a couple of them recently, but I wanted to finish getting some of them last ones in that category. And, well, the first one I got was Mario Sports Superstars. A Nintendo title. These games do not go down in price very often, if ever, especially at this point. At the end of the 3DS's life, I suspect some of these games may go up in price. But this game looks absolutely gorgeous, and I heard it is definitely a fun game. So I've seen a sealed copy, and I had to pick it up. But now for the games I was really talking about here is the end or last games on the 3DS's platform. We all know the 3DS is done. The Switch is Nintendo's major console that they're supporting now. So, I don't want to neglect the 3DS, and the end games on a console's, the last games for a console's life are usually down the road some of the hardest to get, the rarest, and the most expensive, because a lot of people already moved on to the next system, and that next system being the Nintendo Switch. And we all know how that's going. That's selling great for Nintendo, so they pretty much dumped the 3DS. You know, they did support it for a little while, but we got like a slow trickle of games. And once they seen the sales were really taking a dive on these games, they just stopped making them. Now, first off, they started, and this is a game I already had, but they started with their like downslope of last games, and this was what I consider some of the last games. And Luigi's Mansion, we got basically a 3DS version of the original Game Boy game. They did kind of adapt it for the 3DS, so it is a slight bit different. But nevertheless, it's a really cool game. So they put out that, and that was pretty much the beginning of the end. Then pretty much not too long after that, maybe a couple months or so, we got Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, which also included Bowser's Jr.'s Journey. Now, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story was a DS game, so they basically put it on the 3DS. I'm sure they did a little bit of some upscale and tweaks and all that kind of stuff. But it's basically just a port, and then they added Bowser Jr.'s story, which made it a fresh game. So this was, I believe, their second to last game that they put on there. And then we've got Nintendo's last game, and that is Kirby's Epic Yarn. Or, yeah, Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. Let me get it right there. But this was Nintendo's last game that they made for the 3DS. Now, this was a Wii game, and I currently do not have the actual Wii game. So this is the first time I'm owning Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn or whatever, but pretty glad to have basically Nintendo's last game on the 3DS. Wanted to get this now before I was kicking myself down the road for not getting this. But I realized this game definitely was not getting a price trap at all. So I finally picked this up, and it looks really, really good. Definitely something I think that's going to fit pretty good on the 3DS. But then the last game that was actually released for the 3DS that was not a Nintendo game, I believe, is Persona Q2 New Cinema Labyrinth. This game looks really, really cool. I haven't played it yet, even though I've owned it for a little while. So this is, as far as I know, was the last 3DS game. You know, I didn't get the collector's edition, but this did come with a pin set, which I thought was really cool that you got some extra goodies in there. So just wanted to show you guys that. But, you know, if you are collecting for the 3DS, and, you know, now that you see what some of the last games are, if you see them, you may want to pick them up now, while you could get them for just the regular retail price. But that's my gaming pickups, guys, and if you enjoyed them, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, think about subscribing to the channel, guys. I try to put gaming content out like this as much as I can. But thanks for stopping by. I'm the War Train, and I'm out. Have a good one, guys.